The destruction of the hegemony fleet at Kepler sent shockwaves across the galaxy that reached every inhabited world within weeks. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Blackstar reading reports from Earth Command about the chaos his victory had created throughout alien space. Admiral Kate Sullivan appeared on the main screen with news that would change everything. Jake, the entire galaxy is talking about what you did at Kepler. 3 major alien species have requested meetings with Earth diplomats. They want to discuss alliance terms with humanity. Morrison was surprised by this development. I thought we were the ones everyone wanted to destroy, Admiral. That was before you proved that human ships could defeat the hegemony in open combat. Sullivan replied, Now every species that has been oppressed by the hegemony sees humanity as potential liberators. The balance of power in this region has shifted completely. Communications Officer Lisa Campbell interrupted with an urgent message. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from the hegemony homeworlds. They're requesting a meeting under a flag of truce. Morrison was suspicious. After trying to exterminate us, they want to talk. What's changed their minds? The answer came when Commander Korvax appeared on the screen. The alien commander looked defeated and desperate. His silver skin had lost its luster and his glowing eyes were dim with exhaustion. Captain Morrison, the Hegemony Council wishes to discuss terms, Korvax said slowly. Your victories have caused rebellion throughout our territory. Several member species have declared independence and formed their own alliances. Our empire is collapsing. Morrison felt no sympathy for the aliens who had tried to commit genocide against humanity. You started this war, Korvax. You attacked innocent colonists who had done nothing to threaten you. We were afraid, the alien commander admitted. Your species expands so quickly and adapts so well to any challenge. We believed that if we did not stop you early, you would eventually replace us entirely. So you decided to murder entire colonies. Instead of trying to coexist peacefully, Morrison said with anger in his voice. Korvax looked away from the screen. It was a mistake, Captain. We underestimated your military capabilities and your determination to protect your own people. Now we face destruction from the very species we once ruled. Morrison was about to respond when Lieutenant Amy Foster called out from her station. Captain, I'm detecting multiple fleets approaching this system. They're not hegemony ships and they're not human either. The main screen switched to show dozens of alien vessels entering the Kepler system. These ships were different from anything they had seen before. Some looked like living creatures with organic hulls that pulsed with energy. Others were geometric shapes that defied normal engineering principles. Commander Ryan Torres analyzed the new arrivals. Captain, I'm reading at least 8 different ship designs. These appear to be representatives from multiple species. Dr. Carl Peterson's voice came through the communication system from Earth. Captain Morrison, this is Dr. Peterson. I'm aboard one of those ships. Earth Command sent me to oversee negotiations with the new alien alliances. Morrison was relieved to hear from the scientist who had designed the Blackstar's systems. Good to have you here, Doctor. What's the situation? Captain, the galaxy is reshaping itself around humanity's emergence as a major power, Peterson explained. Species that were enslaved by the hegemony are forming new governments. They see humans as the force that freed them from oppression. One of the alien ships transmitted a message to the Blackstar. The speaker was a creature that looked like a walking tree with crystals growing from its bark. When it spoke, the voice sounded like wind through leaves. Human Captain, I am Ambassador Threen of the Sylvani Republic. My people were conquered by the hegemony 200 years ago. Your victory has given us hope that freedom is possible. We wish to discuss mutual defense agreements. Similar messages came from the other alien fleets. Species after species expressed gratitude for humanity's role in breaking hegemony power. Morrison realized that Earth had accidentally become the leader of a galactic revolution. Chief Engineer Danny Rodriguez reported from the engine room. Captain, I've been analyzing the battle data from our fights with the hegemony. The ship's AI systems have evolved beyond their original programming. The Blackstar is now capable of predicting enemy tactics and adapting our strategies in real time. Morrison was fascinated by this development. What does that mean for future operations, Danny? It means, Captain, that the Blackstar has become more than just a warship. It's a learning weapon that gets stronger and smarter with every battle. No enemy will be able to use the same tactics against us twice. Dr. Peterson beamed aboard the Blackstar with representatives from 6 different alien species. Morrison met them in the main conference room, where they discussed the formation of a new galactic alliance with humanity at its center, the tree-like. Sovani brought agricultural technology that could feed billions. The crystalline Zephyrians offered advanced energy systems that made fusion reactors look primitive. Other species contributed medical knowledge, faster-than-light communication methods, and defensive technologies. In return, they wanted human military protection and access to Earth's industrial capabilities. Morrison realized that humanity was being offered the chance to become the dominant species in the galaxy through cooperation rather than conquest. Admiral Sullivan contacted the Blackstar with new orders from Earth. Jake, the President, and the Defense Council have made their decision. You're ordered to lead a joint fleet to the hegemony capital system and demand their complete surrender. Morrison looked around the conference room at his new alien allies. Admiral, it looks like we won't be making that trip alone. The combined fleet that assembled at Kepler consisted of over 200 ships from 15 different species. The Blackstar took the lead position as they prepared to jump to hyperspace. Morrison knew that they were not just traveling to end a war, but to establish a new order in the galaxy. Before giving the order to depart, Morrison addressed the fleet. 2 weeks ago, the hegemony attacked human colonies, believing they could destroy us before we became a threat. They were wrong about our military capabilities, but they were right about one thing. Humanity has become a threat to anyone who believes in oppression and slavery. The fleet entered hyperspace together, heading toward the hegemony homeworlds. Morrison stood on his bridge watching the stars shift around them and reflected on how much had changed. The aliens had sought to destroy humanity to prevent them from becoming a galactic power. Instead, their attacks had accelerated human expansion and made Earth the leader of a new galactic civilization. When the combined fleet arrived at the hegemony capital, the ruling council surrendered without firing a shot. They had no choice when faced with the united forces of every species they had once oppressed. The war that began with an ultimatum to humanity ended with the hegemony's complete defeat and the establishment of human leadership throughout the galaxy. The alien fleet spread out across space like a deadly net trying to surround the USS Blackstar. Captain Jake Morrison watched 50 enemy ships move into position and felt the weight of impossible odds pressing down on him. Commander Korvax had brought enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. Captain, they're forming 3 attack groups. Commander Ryan Torres reported from his tactical station. The largest ships are staying back while the smaller ones move to engage us first. Morrison studied the enemy formation. They want to test our defenses before committing their heavy hitters. Ryan prepared to target their command ships. If we can disrupt their coordination, we might have a chance. Lieutenant Amy Foster monitored the approaching threats. Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildups across their fleet. Whatever weapons they're charging, they're much more powerful than what we faced before. Chief Engineer Danny Rodriguez called from the engine room. Captain, the modifications are ready. Our shields can now reflect their energy attacks back at them. But I don't know how long the system will hold under this much pressure. Morrison made his decision. All hands, this is the captain. We're facing 50 enemy ships, but we're not backing down. Today we show the galaxy that humanity doesn't surrender. Man your stations and prepare for battle. The first wave of alien ships opened fire with weapons that lit up space like artificial stars. Purple energy beams lanced toward the Blackstar from a dozen different directions. Morrison braced himself as the attacks struck his ship DOP, but instead of penetrating the hull, the energy beams hit the adaptive shields and bounced back toward their sources. 3 alien ships exploded as their own weapons destroyed them. The remaining Attackers scattered in confusion, not understanding what had happened. Direct hit on their lead cruiser, Torres reported with excitement. They're backing off to regroup, Morrison smiled grimly. Danny, your modifications worked perfectly. How are our systems holding up? So far so good, Captain. But that was just the first wave. The big ships haven't started shooting yet. Commander Korvax appeared on the main screen looking confused and angry. What technology is this, human? Our weapons cannot harm your ship. Just superior human engineering, Morrison replied. You wanted to test our defenses. How did we do? The alien commander's eyes blazed with fury. You think clever tricks will save you? We have weapons you cannot imagine. Prepare to face the full might of the hegemony. The transmission ended as the alien fleet regrouped for a second attack. This time Korvax brought his heavy battleships forward. The massive vessels were armed with weapons that could crack planets. In half, Foster watched her sensors with growing concern. Captain, those big ships are charging something different. The energy signatures don't match their previous weapons. Morrison felt ice in his stomach. What are we looking at, Amy? Some kind of particle beam weapon, Captain? The energy output is off the charts. I don't think our shields can reflect something like that. The alien battleships fired in unison, sending beams of pure destruction toward the Blackstar. Morrison ordered evasive maneuvers, but the beams were too fast and too accurate. The ship shuddered as the attack struck home. Shields down to 60%, Torres reported. Hull damage on decks 7 and 8. The reflected energy trick doesn't work on their heavy weapons. Morrison realized he needed a new strategy. Danny, can you give me more speed? I want to get in close where their big guns can't track us. You got it, Captain. I'm pushing the engines to maximum power. The Blackstar accelerated directly toward the alien fleet, catching them by surprise. Morrison used the ship's superior maneuverability to dart between the enemy vessels like a fighter plane dancing around bombers. Fire all weapons, Morrison commanded. Concentrate on their command ships. The Blackstar's guns blazed with deadly fire. Plasma cannons and railguns tore through alien hulls while missile launchers sent guided warheads deep into enemy formations. The human ship was outnumbered, but its weapons were more accurate and more powerful. Communications. Officer Lisa Campbell intercepted enemy transmissions. Captain, they're having trouble coordinating their attacks. Our speed and agility are confusing. Their targeting systems, Morrison pressed his advantage. Ryan, target their sensor arrays. If they can't see us, they can't hit us. The battle raged across the Kepler system as the lone human ship fought against overwhelming odds. Morrison used every trick he had learned in 30 years of military service. He hid in debris fields and used the planet's gravity to slingshot. Around obstacles, the alien fleet tried to box him in, but Morrison always found a way to slip through their formations. The Blackstar's advanced AI helped calculate impossible maneuvers that kept them one step ahead of enemy fire. Captain, we've destroyed 15 of their ships, Torres reported. But they're adapting to our tactics. They're starting to predict our movements. Morrison knew the battle was turning against them. His ship was faster and more maneuverable, but the aliens had numbers and firepower. Eventually, they would wear him down through sheer attrition. Then Foster made a discovery that changed everything. Captain, I'm detecting something strange about their formations. The ships are staying in very precise patterns. I think they're linked together somehow. Morrison studied the tactical display. What kind of link, Amy? Some kind of shared targeting? System, Captain. They're all connected through their command ship. If we could disrupt that connection, we might be able to break their coordination. Morrison saw his chance. Ryan, can you identify their command vessel, that big ship in the center, Captain? It's been staying back from the fighting and coordinating the others, Morrison smiled. Then let's give Commander Korvax a personal visit. Danny, I need everything. You can give me from the reactor? The Blackstar turned toward the alien command ship and accelerated at full power. Enemy vessels moved to intercept, but Morrison had one more trick up his sleeve. Lisa broadcast this on all frequencies, Morrison said. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Blackstar. We came here to protect innocent people. You chose to... Make this a fight to the death. Now face the consequences. The Blackstar's main gun charged with enough energy to destroy a small moon. The massive weapon fired a beam of pure destruction that struck the alien command ship and vaporized it in a flash of light. Instantly, the enemy fleet lost coordination. Ships collided with each other as their shared targeting system failed. Some vessels fled in panic while others drifted helplessly in space. "Captain, the survivors are retreating," Torres reported. "We've won." Morrison looked at the scattered remains of the enemy fleet. "Send a message to those survivors. Tell them that humanity protects its own. If they attack our people again, we'll destroy them all." News of the Blackstar's victory spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. The destruction of an entire hegemony fleet by a single human ship sent shockwaves through alien command centers on dozens of worlds. Captain Jake Morrison stood on his bridge reading reports from Earth Command about the chaos his victory had caused. The hegemony leadership was meeting in emergency session trying to understand how their advanced warships had been destroyed so easily. For 300 years, they had been the dominant military force in this region of space. No single vessel had ever defeated 12 of their ships in open combat. Admiral Kate Sullivan appeared on the main screen looking both proud and worried. "Jake, you've stirred up a hornet's nest out there. Our intelligence networks are picking up massive military movements throughout hegemony space. They're mobilizing everything they have." Morrison nodded. "I expected as much, Admiral. They can't let this defeat go unanswered, or other species might start getting ideas about resisting them. We're sending reinforcements, but it will take 2 weeks for the nearest fleet to reach you." "Can you hold out that long if they come in force?" Sullivan asked. "The Blackstar can handle more than they think," Morrison replied. "Dr. Peterson built this ship to fight against impossible odds. We'll give them a fight they won't forget." The transmission ended, leaving Morrison alone with his thoughts. He knew the aliens would come back with everything they had. The question was whether the Blackstar could survive what they brought. "Commander," Ryan Torres approached with intelligence reports. "Captain, we're getting some interesting data from the wreckage of those alien ships. Their technology is more advanced than ours in some ways, but they seem to have weaknesses we can exploit." Morrison studied the reports. "What kind of weaknesses, Ryan?" "Their weapons are designed to overwhelm shields through repeated hits. They've never fought an enemy with adaptive armor like ours. Also, their tactics are very rigid and predictable. They don't seem to know how to adapt when things don't go according to plan." Lieutenant Amy Foster looked up from her sensors. "Captain, I'm detecting a massive energy signature approaching from deep space. It's much larger than anything we've seen before." Morrison moved to the tactical display. "How large, Amy?" "At least 50 ships, Captain, maybe more. They're still too far away to get exact numbers, but this is definitely a major fleet." Chief Engineer Danny Rodriguez reported from the engine room. "Captain, the reactor is running at peak efficiency. I've also been working on some modifications that might give us an edge in the next fight." "What kind of modifications?" Danny Morrison asked. "Well, Captain, I've been studying the data from our last battle. I think I can increase our weapon power by 30% and make our shields even more adaptive. The aliens won't be expecting that." Morrison smiled. "Do it, Danny. We'll need every advantage we can get." The Blackstar moved to a defensive position near the destroyed colony world. Morrison wanted to draw the alien fleet to him where he could use the planet's gravity well and debris fields to his advantage. The ship's stealth systems would help hide their exact position until the battle began. Hours passed as the crew prepared for what might be their final fight. The alien fleet grew larger on the sensors as it approached. Foster counted at least 50 warships, including several massive vessels that dwarfed anything they had seen before. Communications Officer Lisa Campbell intercepted alien transmissions. "Captain, they're talking about someone called Korvax. Sounds like he's their top military commander. They're really angry about what happened to their patrol fleet." Morrison studied the approaching forces. "Ryan, what's your tactical assessment?" Torres worked his displays. They're coming in with overwhelming force, Captain. 3 battle groups plus support vessels. The smart play would be to run and wait for reinforcements. That's not an option, Morrison said firmly. There are still human survivors on that planet. We're not leaving them to die. Foster suddenly looked up with surprise. Captain, I'm picking up life signs from the surface. There are people alive down there hiding in underground shelters? Morrison felt a surge of hope. How many? Amy hard to tell from this distance, but I'm reading at least 300 signatures. They're scattered across the northern continent in what looks like mining tunnels. The alien fleet continued to approach while Morrison made his decision. He could not abandon the survivors, but fighting 50 ships seemed like suicide. Then Rodriguez called from engineering with news that changed everything. Captain, I've got those modifications online. But there's something else. I've been analyzing the alien technology, and I think I know how to turn their own weapons against them. Explained Danny, Morrison said. Their energy weapons work by creating resonance patterns in enemy shields. But if we can reverse the polarity on our defensive systems, we might be able to reflect their attacks back at them. It's risky, but it could work. Morrison made his choice. Do it, Danny. Lisa, send a message to the surface. Tell any survivors to stay hidden. We're going to get them out of there. The Blackstar moved into position as the alien fleet entered the system. Morrison could see the massive ships on his screen. They were beautiful in their own way, with flowing lines and pulsing energy patterns. But they were also instruments of death coming to finish what they had started. The lead alien vessel was twice the size of the Blackstar, with weapons that could probably destroy cities. Commander Korvax appeared on the main screen. He was different from the previous alien commander. This one had silver skin and eyes that glowed with inner fire. Human ship, you have caused great damage to the hegemony fleet. I am Korvax Supreme, commander of the Zephyrian battle groups. You will surrender immediately or face complete destruction. Morrison stepped forward. I'm Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Blackstar. Your people attacked innocent colonists? We're here to make sure that doesn't happen again. Korvax made a gesture that might have been dismissive. Your species is a plague upon the galaxy. We will cleanse every world you have touched. Your resistance only delays the inevitable. We'll see about that, Morrison replied. The alien commander's expression grew cold. You destroyed 12 of our ships. We have brought 50. Your courage is admirable but meaningless. Prepare to die. The transmission cut off as the alien fleet moved into attack formation. Morrison looked around his bridge at the crew who had become like family to him. They were about to face impossible odds, but not one of them showed fear. All hands battle stations, Morrison commanded. Today we show the galaxy what humanity is made of. The USS Blackstar dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler system and immediately began scanning for threats. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge watching the sensor displays light up with data. What they found made his blood run cold. Lieutenant Amy Foster looked up from her station with a pale face. Captain, I'm reading massive debris fields throughout the system. These are the remains of human ships and stations. The destruction is complete. Morrison moved to stand beside her and studied the readings. Pieces of metal and plastic drifted through space where once there had been cargo haulers and defense platforms. The colonists had tried to fight back, but their weapons had been no match for whatever attacked them, Chief Engineer Danny Rodriguez reported from the engine room. Captain, the reactor is running perfectly and all systems are green. Whatever we're about to face, we're ready for it. Commander Ryan Torres analyzed the tactical situation from his station. The attack patterns suggest multiple ships working together. They hit the orbital defenses first, then moved to the surface installations. This was planned and coordinated, not a random raid. Morrison felt anger building inside him as he looked at the wreckage. These had been good people trying to build new lives on a distant world. They had not deserved to die like this. Lisa, any word from the surface? He asked. Communications Officer Lisa Campbell shook her head. Nothing, Captain. All communication arrays have been destroyed. If anyone is still alive down there, they can't call for help. The Blackstar moved deeper into the system using its stealth systems to avoid detection. Morrison wanted to know what they were facing before revealing their presence. The ship's advanced sensors painted a picture of total destruction across the colony. World. Foster suddenly tensed at her station. Captain, I'm detecting 12 ships approaching from the outer system. They're not human designs, and they're heading straight for us. Morrison moved to the center of the bridge as the alien vessels appeared on the main screen. They were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. The ships had organic curves and smooth surfaces that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Their hulls were dark purple with silver highlights that pulsed with energy. Red alert, Morrison commanded. All hands to battle stations. Ryan, I want full tactical analysis of those ships. The bridge lights dimmed to red as the crew prepared for combat. Torres worked quickly at his station analyzing the alien vessels. Captain, they're armed with energy weapons I've never seen before. Their hulls appear to be some kind of biometallic compound. I'm reading 12 ships total with the largest being about half our size. Morrison studied the approaching fleet. The aliens had the advantage of numbers, but the Blackstar was larger and more heavily armed. Still, he preferred to try talking before fighting. Lisa opened a channel to the lead ship. The main screen flickered and filled with the image of an alien commander. The creature was tall and thin with 4 arms and skin that looked like polished stone. Its eyes were completely black and seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding metal. Human vessel, you have entered hegemony space without permission. I am Commander Vex of the HFY War fleet. Your species has been spreading through the galaxy like a disease. We are here to stop that spread before it gets worse. Morrison stepped forward. I'm Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Blackstar. Those were innocent civilians you murdered. They were farmers, not soldiers. There was no need for this slaughter. The alien commander made a sound that might have been laughter. Innocent, your species knows nothing of innocence. You take worlds that do not belong to you and claim them as your own. You multiply like parasites and consume everything in your path. The hegemony has decided that humanity must be stopped before you become a real threat. We can find a peaceful solution, Morrison said, though he was already signaling Torres to prepare weapons. There's no need for more killing. Peace is not possible with your kind, Vex replied. You will surrender your ship and accept destruction, or we will take it by force. Those are your only choices. The transmission cut off, leaving Morrison staring at a blank screen. He had hoped to avoid a fight, but the aliens had made their intentions clear. Humanity was facing an enemy that wanted nothing less than complete extinction. Captain, the alien fleet is moving to attack formation, Torres reported. They're trying to surround us. Morrison nodded. All weapons online, shields to maximum. Danny, I need everything you can give me from the reactor. The Blackstar's engines roared to life as Morrison pushed the ship forward. He would not let the aliens dictate the terms of this fight. The ship accelerated directly toward the enemy formation, catching them by surprise. Fire all forward batteries, Morrison commanded. The Blackstar's weapons lit up space with beams of concentrated energy. The experimental plasma cannons tore through the alien formation, destroying 2 ships instantly. The kinetic railguns followed up with solid projectiles that punched through enemy hulls like they were made of paper. The alien ships returned fire with weapons that looked like purple lightning. The energy beam struck the Blackstar's shields and was absorbed by the adaptive armor plating. Dr. Peterson's defensive systems were working exactly as designed. Foster monitored the battle damage. Captain, our shields are holding at 90%. The alien weapons are having minimal effect. Morrison smiled grimly. Ryan, target their command ship? Let's see how they like losing their leader. The Blackstar's main gun charged with enough energy to level a city. The massive weapon fired a beam of pure destruction that struck the alien flagship amidships. The enemy vessel exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the dark space around them. The remaining alien ships began to retreat. But Morrison was not about to let them escape. Pursue and destroy. I want to send a message that attacking humans has consequences. The Blackstar chased down the fleeing aliens one by one. The ship's superior speed and firepower made it impossible for the enemy to escape. Within an hour, only debris remained of the alien fleet. Torres checked his tactical display. Captain, all enemy vessels destroyed. We took minimal damage and no casualties. Morrison looked at the wreckage floating around them. The aliens had learned a hard lesson about underestimating humanity. But he knew this was just the beginning. The hegemony would not ignore the destruction of their fleet. Lisa, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we've made contact with hostile aliens and that they should prepare for war. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Blackstar watching the stars drift by through the main screen. The ship moved through space like a silent predator, its black hull reflecting no light from the distant suns. Morrison had been commanding the Blackstar for 3 months now and still felt amazed by the power beneath his feet. This was not just any warship, but humanity's newest and most deadly creation, the Blackstar, stretched nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern with weapons that could crack planets and shields, that could stop anything the galaxy might throw at them. Dr. Carl Peterson and his team had spent 15 years building the technologies that made this ship possible. Every system aboard was designed to be better than anything humans had ever created before. Morrison walked across the bridge, checking on his crew. Communications Officer Lisa Campbell sat at her station monitoring radio signals from across the sector. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as she filtered through thousands of messages every hour. Most were routine trade communications or colony status reports, but she knew how to spot the important ones. Commander Ryan Torres stood near the tactical display studying patrol routes and fleet positions. He was Morrison's right hand and the best tactical mind in the Earth Defense Force. Torres had fought in the border wars against pirates and knew how to read space battles, like other people read books. His dark eyes missed nothing as he tracked friendly and neutral ships across the star charts. Chief Engineer Danny Rodriguez was below decks in the engine room, but his voice came through the intercom every few minutes with status reports. The Blackstar's reactor produced more energy than some small stars, and Rodriguez treated it like his own child. He knew every bolt and wire in the ship's systems and could fix anything that might break. Lieutenant Amy Foster sat at the sensor station watching for threats or anomalies. Her job was to be the ship's eyes and ears in the darkness of space. The Blackstar's sensors could detect a single ship from light years away or spot the heat signature of a person walking on a planet's surface. Foster had trained for years to read the complex displays that showed her everything happening around them. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of electronics and the occasional status report. Morrison enjoyed these peaceful moments during patrol because he knew they would not last forever. The galaxy was becoming more dangerous as human colonies spread outward from Earth. Other species were starting to notice humanity's rapid expansion, and not all of them were happy about it. Morrison was thinking about the reports from the outer colonies when Campbell's voice cut through the bridge silence. "Captain, I'm receiving a distress signal from the Kepler system," she said without looking up from her station. Her voice was steady, but Morrison could hear the concern underneath. "Put it through," Lisa, Morrison said as he moved to stand behind her chair. The main screen flickered and filled with static before a desperate voice broke through the interference. "This is Colony Administrator Ben Carter on Kepler 442b. We are under attack by unknown alien forces. They appeared 3 days ago and have been systematically destroying our settlements. Please send help immediately. We have women and children here who need evacuation." The transmission cut to static and then silence. Campbell worked her controls trying to re-establish contact, but got nothing back. "I'm sorry, Captain, but that's all we're getting. The signal is very weak and breaking up badly." Torres stepped forward, studying the star charts. Kepler 442b is a farming colony about 40,000 people. They have basic defenses, but nothing that could stop a serious military attack. If someone is hitting them hard, they won't last long. Morrison felt ice in his stomach. Attacks on human Colonies were rare, but when they happened, they were usually devastating. Pirates sometimes raided isolated settlements, but they took what they wanted and left. This sounded different and much more dangerous. "Danny, I need maximum speed to the Kepler system," Morrison said into his COM unit. Rodriguez's voice came back immediately. "You got it, Captain. I can push the reactor to give us 3 days travel time instead of 5. The engines will handle it no problem." Foster looked up from her sensors. "Captain, I'm detecting some unusual energy signatures coming from the direction of Kepler. Whatever is happening there involves some serious firepower." Morrison made his decision quickly. "Set course for Kepler 442, be maximum speed. Lisa, try to reach Earth Command and let them know what's happening. Ryan, start pulling together everything we know about that system and its defenses." The Blackstar changed course smoothly and began accelerating toward the Kepler system. Morrison could feel the ship's power as the engines pushed them faster through space. Whatever was attacking the colony would soon discover that humanity did not abandon its own dot as the ship traveled. Campbell worked to establish contact with Earth Command. The communication arrays sent signals across space at faster than light speeds, but even so, it would take hours to reach Earth and get a response. Morrison hoped they would not need to wait for orders from Home. Torres gathered intelligence data about the Kepler system and its human settlements. The colony had been established 8 years ago by families looking for new farmland. They grew food crops that were shipped back to Earth and the inner colonies. The people there were farmers and engineers, not soldiers. Foster continued monitoring her sensors as they approached the system. The energy signatures were getting stronger and more complex. Whatever was happening at Kepler involved multiple ships and advanced weapons. She had never seen readings quite like these before. Hours passed as the Blackstar raced through space. Morrison stayed on the bridge reviewing tactical data and trying to prepare for whatever they might find. The ship's crew went about their duties with quiet efficiency. Everyone knew that they might be heading into a fight against unknown enemies. Finally, Campbell received a response from Earth Command. Admiral Kate Sullivan's face appeared on the main screen looking grim. "Jake, we've been monitoring the situation at Kepler. This is worse than just a pirate raid. Our intelligence suggests this might be the start of something much bigger." "What do you mean, Admiral?" Morrison asked, though he suspected he already knew the answer. "We've been picking up communications from several alien species calling themselves the Hegemony. They view human expansion as a threat to their territories. It looks like they've decided to do something about it. Your orders are to investigate and protect human interests at all costs." The transmission ended, leaving Morrison staring at the dark screen. The Blackstar was powerful, but if they were facing an alliance of alien species, the odds might be against them. Still, Morrison had never backed down from a fight, and he was not going to start now. The ship continued its journey toward Kepler while Morrison and his crew prepared for whatever they might find there.